All right. What's going on, everyone? Welcome. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on the replay, welcome to another episode of Family Finance Friday. And the show is brought to you by the DJ, the Money Coach team, and the Seven Spheres of
What's up,
Money.
guys? Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yep,
I
we
can't
hear
hear
you.
you. Maybe I got to go out and come back in again. Well, I had this problem before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let me go out and come back in. I'm on my tablet. There's power shortages down here.
All right. Let's put DJ in the back. Put DJ in the back till he get his audio connected. But yeah, thank you for joining us tonight for another powerful show, important conversations. And before we get into tonight's topic, or as we like to call it, the beach, hit the like button, share with at least 5 people. And if you're not already subscribed to DJ the Money Coach here on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell to receive the notifications. If you forget that, we're here each and every Friday, you'll get that reminder. And yeah, help us spread the word, spread the message, the good news of the Pom Pom Lifestyle Movement. And of course, we know the Pom Pom Lifestyle Movement cannot be stopped. And if you're new here and wondering what the Pom Pom Lifestyle Movement is, Pom Pom is plenty of money, peace of mind. And we invite you, everyone, all of you can join this club and join us on the beaches of the world. And our beach, if you don't already know, it's Zanzibar, but we have several beaches because your beach is wherever you find your peace and your tranquility. But we go to a different beach each and every Friday. And tonight's beach, along with Zanzibar, is consistency, the key to financial independence, which we'll get into in just a few moments. But first, let me send my greetings to my man on the screen there, Tajir, the president of Zanzibar, aka the protege. What's going on, brother?
What's going on? We got Nick Westbrooks in the building, the master, the wordsmith, the encyclopedia of knowledge himself. It is a beautiful Friday tonight. Every day above ground with health is a great day. I have no complaints. This week has been cool. It's been productive. I'm feeling good. It's just that's the long and short of it.
Yep. Same here. Feeling good. Very, very busy but positive week. Positive and productive. Yeah, as it should be. Lot of things moving. You know, excited about the weekend. Get some family time in, so I'm looking forward to that.
Ditto.
The only thing I'm not feeling right now is is just getting to be just a little bit too nippy for me, with fall coming in.
Man, you already know, bro. And it's crazy because we're leading into we just passed my birthday time, but we're getting into your birthday time, and I always say this because I'm like, I hate this time of the year because it started getting so cold. You wake up in the morning, you got to be mindful of even having your window open at night because it might be a little cool right now if you go to sleep right now, but you wake up in the morning, you're ice cold, you can't breathe, you don't know what's going on and such. It's like, it's crazy. It's this winter during the morning and night, summer during the day. It's weird. I'm with you, bro. It's definitely getting below my threshold. Once it get below like 65, 60, I'm like, too much.
Pushing it too much. Yeah. And getting dark earlier too. It's just 7:30 Eastern time and it's dark already.
It's black.
Yeah, exactly. It's like soon as the sun starts dropping a little bit, you feel it. The temperature just starts dropping like.
Bro, the sun don't even gotta drop. You ever just be walking outside like today? I was working out, went to my park and worked out for some time, and I was running, and I ran through the spot with the sun, and I ran to the spot with the shade. I said, "Woo!"
Yeah,
I felt that instantly.
Instantly, man. Yeah. But everything happens in in cycles, until the point where we're all expats in Zanzibar. We just got just put up put up with it for now.
I'm counting down, bro. I got a couple more days left, so I'm counting down. I'm like, you know what? None of this is gonna matter because it'll be hot there. By the time I get back here, it'll be warm again. So I'm like, listen.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, you got that set up perfectly. You got that set up perfectly. Perfect timing.
Oh man.
Love it. Love it. Yep. But man, tonight we're talking about consistency and the key to financial independence.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and start diving into that.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So you guys see me whenever I'm on the show, you kind of get the pattern that I talk to about this point, because although the key as in the title is financial independence, but that's usually the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of foundational items to get there, right? And when we look at consistency, that's really all that's about. So first and foremost, what do we mean? So I know you've seen the motivational speakers, the videos, whatever, that say, be consistent. And it sounds great, right? It's like, okay, it's a motto, but in reality, this is what it is. And actually, a book that we have been reading that has been introduced to us by DJ as of late really goes into this, because it dives into these psychologies of winners and people that are high performers and doing high level things. So let me talk to you guys quickly about the importance of consistency and what's the backdrop behind this. So you could, in other circumstances, right, all across the board, historically have been a champion. You could have been elite. You could have been one of the best, knock everything out of the park, super great at all the things that you do. But in one fell swoop, all of that can be gone. And the moment that you stop doing all the things that got you to that place or brought you those wins, it's almost like it never even happened. So I'm going to start off. I'll get a little anecdotal, right? So my life, I've been what is the word I'm looking for? Serial high achiever all across the board. Everything from school to sports to extracurriculars, you name it. My personality is go hard or go home. Nick knows this. I'll be over the top sometimes. This is nothing new, right? But the thing is this. I had realized, because I kept hitting my head against the ceiling, I'm like, man, I've accomplished all these things. I knocked all these things out. What's the problem? What's happening? And I said, I got overconfident. I was like, I'm the best now. I'm number one. I don't have to do the regular preparation, regular maintenance, consistent, just activities, workouts, whatever. I'm like, I stopped doing that. And then I started to see my performance drop. Physically, I started gaining a lot of weight, feeling more sluggish. I'm like, man, what's happening? Mentally, my mind had been cloudy, usually where I'm just razor sharp on thoughts and being able to get a point of solution across. I'm like, hey, what's going on in my head? I'm second guessing myself, doubting, and I'm trying to figure out for the life of me what's going on, what's happened, and how did this even happen, especially from the fact that I've been able to do all of these things thus far. And then I had to look back. I said, because I stopped doing the things that got me here, because I thought I was the big dog. And I was like, I don't have to do none of this. It's just in my blood now. I could just, on demand, just knock everything out. Then I realized that that's not real. And that's why you have what separates the Floyd Mayweathers from everybody else. When you're talking about absolute consistency, when whether or not you are number one, you're still with your workout plan, your lifestyle plan, your mental health plan, your spiritual plan. If you are making sure you're consistent with all of those, you're never going to lose. But the moment that you kind of slip up on those is when things start to fall apart. And so before you even, right, get to a place of greatness, because maybe you haven't done a whole bunch of things that are great. Maybe you just, like most people, like I was at one point, just kind of coasting by. Once you start and you get into being consistent, you start to see a change all across the board. And let me tell you where the change starts, because it's really all mental. It starts in your mind, because you start to see and appreciate yourself more. And you subconsciously start to give yourself more respect because you're like, oh, I really do this. This is not something I say when I'm talking in public or, try to put myself on a pedestal. This is my actual reality. So subconsciously in your head, you start believing it because you see it. All right, I'm going to get up and work out. I'm going to stick to my spiritual plan. I'm going to stick to whatever it is that I'm learning. If I'm learning a new skill set, new hobby, whatever the case is, I know that I do this every day. So in my head, in the foreseeable future, I know that I'm going to only do this every day. So you start to believe and trust yourself. And now you start moving with a certain level of confidence. And the cool thing is that once that happens, other people can see that. They can see it kind of radiate from you. So whereas you might have had issues before getting a point across, making that sale, building that new relationship with the beautiful woman that you see around that really doesn't pay you too much mind, whatever the case is, you now people are starting to bite and feed because they see there's a change in you because you believe yourself now. So that's really step number one. And it's simple, but not easy because this is really the hardest part because a lot of the things that we're looking for are tangible physical results to see and show and to kind of show people because we like to skip out on the hard parts. But these hard parts, which is the consistent things, doing things every day, this is what gets you to that level mentally where you can now attack the things that you need to the right way. So, Nick, you can give us your feedback on, some of the things that I said and what your own experience is with consistency or lack thereof. What you think? What's happening?
Well, this is very timely because every Thursday I get what's called the 3-2-1. It's a 3-2-1 newsletter from James Clear. He's the author of the book Atomic Habits. So what we're talking about tonight is very similar to that, and it resonates. And the piece that really resonates with me is the frequency of it. And you emphasize, Tajir, the everyday aspect of it. In the book and these newsletters that come out every Thursday, depending on the quotes, or it's usually a quote, a question, quotes from others, quotes from the author. But one that came out yesterday really touches on how the frequency is more important than, I would say, than the quality. I would say normally we say quality over quantity, but when it comes to consistency, it's more about the quantity than the quality. Of course, you want to have both, but at the end of the day, we're human, and we always don't show up the same every day. We aim to do our best, but our best may look different every day depending on depending on that time, depending on where we're going through. Maybe we're physically ill, maybe we're more tired than usual, maybe we're going through a rough patch emotionally. The thing is to keep showing up. So what I saw yesterday, what I read yesterday, I have it right here. It says 2 is twice as good as 1, but 1 is infinitely better than 0. 1 minute of making sales calls is infinitely better than 0 minutes. 1 minute of meditation is infinitely better than 0 minutes. 1 minute of writing is infinitely better than 0 minutes. Sure, it might be ideal to spend an hour doing these things, but 1 minute gets you in the game. Now you're learning. Now you're improving. Now results are possible. 1 doesn't seem like much, but it's something real. At 0, you're still dreaming. So that consistency piece, and he also gives the workout, the exercise example too, where he argues that a lower quality workout is better than no workout at all. It may not be your hardest workout, it may not be your best workout, but the fact that you still got out there and did the workout is what's most important. And it's most important because it's about establishing habits. You know, you're establishing a habit, and it becomes your identity. You know, you become the person that works out every day. You become a writer when you put aside, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or an hour to write a little, write a little bit each day. Or you become, a reader when you decide to when you put aside 15 minutes or an hour every day to read. So consistency means developing habits and becoming and having that end goal and that process to reaching that end goal. It becomes your identity. It becomes part of you when you develop consistency. So that's my perspective on consistency on October 11th, 2024, from a general sense. I know we're going to get into the financial part of it, which I kind of alluded to a little bit when I read that piece that I received in my email. But that's what's really resonating with me right now, is the importance of that frequency, developing the habits, and having it become your identity.
Yes, sir. Couldn't have said it any better. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I call him the encyclopedia in real life. Listen, so since we're doing the book thing, you already know the book we're reading, Nick, right? So the book that DJ is commissioned for us to read, called Winning, and in it, one of the profound points was the loneliness of winning, right? Where it's something you're always chasing. You're always right there, but it's never yours. And that really goes, that statement right there is a testament to what we're referring to in terms of consistency, because there's a reason why you have to do this stuff every day, because the moment you stop, all of your momentum is gone. And we hate to hear that. We hate to go into it. It's like, dang, all the stuff that I've been working towards just stops. For the most part, yeah, you can obviously restart, and it's easier to keep going if you just, for example, had a 1 or 2 day break. But when you stop, you do stop a certain level of momentum that you then have to build back up. And this is just the main point. And we know this, but we don't always do it. Reason being is that, honestly, we let ourselves get in our own way. We try to be forward thinking, clear thinking, black and white, and kind of analytical beings, but we're much more complex than that. We get emotional, we have things happen. So it's very easy to come up with an excuse as to why we didn't do something, especially when things happen that are outside of our control that kind of derailed our plans. And we're like, you know what, screw this, I'm not doing anything, or you know what, I didn't get to this, but oh well, these things happen. But you already know the phrase. It's really not about what happened to you. It's about how you responded to that. Because when you let the outside stimuli affect what's going on with you, you've only hurt yourself. All right. So you may say, oh man, I didn't do what I was supposed to do because Nick got me upset. All right, I could be upset with Nick, and maybe I'm right to be upset with Nick. But if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, right, I'm only hurting myself in the process. And although it may be more work and I may be more frustrated because of whatever Nick just did to me, I still need to get it done, because afterwards you're going to feel so much better, and you're going to know and understand, again, that trust and respect for yourself as a continued champion. And it's important to highlight that stuff, because we have to get on pathways. And like Nick said, 1 is infinitely better than 0. We are not trying to build the Taj Mahal tomorrow. We're not trying to be Floyd Mayweather tomorrow. We're not trying to be Michael Phelps tomorrow. What we're doing is creating consistent habits so we can grow from there. And then from there, you have the magic of what occurs when you do something every day. Because if you've had a specific goal that you were working towards, whether that was personal or professional, or you've had a hobby, you know that if you did something every single day, you may say day by day, I'm not really getting too much better, or, this is just whatever the case is. But there always comes that one day where out of nowhere, something that seemed extremely difficult for you and was so hard before, you just couldn't understand, you get it just like that. And you don't have to do too much thinking. You don't have to do too much pondering. It ends up just coming, right? And I'll take this on. I'll get anecdotal with myself. I'll give you guys a professional context, and I'll give you guys I'll give you a professional and a hobby. Give you two professionals and a hobby. Start first things first. Credit. So I started to get a good, decent understanding of credit when I was in college, but I didn't really, quite understand it for real. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. And I just kind of had a lot of excuses until what happened was I got a late payment on one of my credit cards. I had to have been like 18, 19. And this sounds so simple, but and for anybody that knows finance, these late payments stay on your credit report for quite some time. So I remember it hit my report, and for whatever my score was at the time, it was probably in the 600s or something like that. I remember it dropped from like maybe it was a 670 to like a 620. And I was like, oh man. I was like, nah, we can't do this. So I made it a point to be consistent with managing my credit, paying my bills, and not making excuses. And I didn't think about, if I had the money at the time, whatever the case. I said, hey, I got things to pay. So slowly but surely, number one, I became more proficient in credit, of course. And number two, my credit score reflected that. And I never had a late payment on my report since. So it's still pristine, right? Consistency. Boom. Next. Prior to me being here talking to you guys, I used to be an analyst, right? I used to be a financial analyst in private equity. And what does that mean? That means that I analyzed deals for large investments of like $75 to $150 million, whether that was real estate, renewable energy, you name it. So I got really great at being analytical and seeing numbers and things like that. But when I became part of this team and I had to get into sales, that was extremely difficult for me at first, because sales is the biggest test. If you want to put yourself in the fire and see who you really are and see if you can stand on what you say, you get into sales, because that'll teach you day one. I was terrified and humiliated the first couple of times attempting to go through sales calls. It was crazy for me. I'm like, oh my God. I used to get so nervous up into the call. I'd be damn near shaking. I'd be in my head like, I'd be smiling so hard the whole time. Every time they give me a rebuttal or something like that, it throw me off, and I'd just be in another world. And I was like, and every time I would get on, and when I didn't close, because obviously with me being on the call like that, I'm not closing anything, right? So I'm sitting here, and every time I get off the call, I would feel so defeated. Like, man, I didn't get my sale. But then there was this little part that was like, but you still got on the call, and you still continued. You didn't concede. You got the no. You got the hard no, right? So continuously going through that, and every time the sales opportunities would come up where I would have to select or what's the word I'm looking for? Put myself up, whereas it could have been someone else. But I would say, you know what? I'm gonna do it consistently, because I'm like, hey, this stings, but I need to get better at this, and I need to continue to push this forward. So you guys already know what happens next. Every time there's an opportunity for me to sell something, even if it's not that serious, and even if it wasn't in a context of work, I did it because I knew that I had to get better. And so, of course, going, all those zeros, nothing happening. And then what happened was the game started to slow down. I was like, oh, so when I'm getting this response, they really mean this. So if they tell me this, they really want me to explain a little bit more and be keen on what it is that their concerns are. Oh, okay. I've seen this before. Oh, okay. I've seen that before. Oh, okay. Then boom, we are able to close our first sale. And I'm ecstatic, because I'm like, hey, I went from being a computer nerd that was on my computer all day, every day in these numbers. And the biggest socialization that I had was in social context, which I excelled at. But in business, that wasn't my thing. I would just keep it light, send my reports, not do too much talking, and present when I needed to on the findings, because the stuff that I did was great. So I would have to always present or talk about those things. And I would, get myself ready to talk about those things and move on. But after that, not too much. But going through the process of learning the skill and art of sales, it taught me so much about consistency, and I gained a greater respect and appreciation for myself, because I was then able to, number one, have another stream of income in my pocket. I'm now able to say, all right, if everything went to hell, if I lost all of my investments, all of my savings, whatever, I can start over because I know how to sell and I could figure it out. And just knowing that and knowing that, you know, it was something that I had to build. It wasn't something that I could just, you know, speed my way through or just, you know, get some kind of help. It was something that I had to do. Gave me so much power and confidence. And I was actually key in me becoming financial independent because I still was an analyst while I was still making sales at night. So I was able to add an additional source of income that I was able to just put completely in the investments. And, you know, that changed up the asset column for me. And lastly, finish off with a hobby, and then I'll turn it over to Nick. When I began learning about music theory, something that was something that I never particularly had an interest in, but I decided to learn it. I wanted to learn everything about music, from the voice, the instruments, everything. And that was an extreme learning curve because it was I was always a writer, but the actual music part and putting it all together was not my strong suit. Extremely difficult for me, very, very hard. But it was something that I fell in love with. So I was like, okay, we're going to do this every day. And a little cheat code there because I loved it. Me doing it every day didn't feel like work. It was the only other thing that I'd be doing if I wasn't working or had a specific task to do. So doing that consistently, and the magic happens. Things that would take me forever to understand and process, out of nowhere, I just magically get, oh, how do you transition this kind of note to this note? How do you make this kind of instrumental and switch between these keys and chords? How do you go from major to minor, right? With instrumental side, but how do you do with that? How do you do that with the voice? How do you go from someone that doesn't know how to sing or anything like that and learn how to figure it out? How do you go from the middle, the bottom to the top of your range in one set? These things are all extremely difficult to me, that with consistency, all of the things that I was confused about or couldn't get, they all came to me. And what it gave me, aside from a greater proficiency over something that I loved, was another thing to put under my belt that I worked towards exclusively, that nobody taught me, nobody gave me. This is something that I built. And this is another example of why I know that under any circumstance, I could figure anything out and learn it because I did it. Right? So this is the power of consistency in my personal testimony. Now we're turning it to Mr. Westbrooks to give you his testimony because you already know he got stories.
Yeah. And what you're touching on, I know DJ was coming. He dropped back out, so when he comes back in, we'll see if his technology is working. But I think one major theme that I think from your story, Tajir, and I can say I experienced as well, is opportunity. The word opportunity comes up. So once you're consistent with a certain skill, a certain task, or a certain activity or hobby, and you're doing it on a consistent basis to the point where you gain expertise in it. You may become an expert, or you may gain enough expertise to where people recognize that expertise and they tap you for opportunities, even if you may not feel like you have enough or adequate expertise to to be an authority with a certain skill. Most recently, I've taken a long term hobby of long-term hobby of practicing and studying numerology, and just practicing with friends and family. And now that I've turned it into a professional track, started transitioning to the professional track, since I've been doing this so long and growing along the way, growing in my knowledge and growing in the way I deliver that knowledge, the opportunities are starting to pop up, which are in turn tied to financial independence, because they're not only opportunities for me to showcase my expertise and my skills, but they're also becoming to be paid opportunities, whether they're one-on-one consultations, meetings with folks, or if they're interviews in which people are seeing me exercise this expertise, which turns into leads, same way that it works in sales. That's what I'm in the midst of experiencing right now, is something that I've been practicing for 7 or so years, for the most part behind the scenes, starting to manifest into financial opportunities. So that's an immediate example or testimony, like Tajir said, that I can think of how consistency was the key and is leading to financial opportunities and independence. But yeah, I just want to bring that back to the initial general thought that yeah, opportunities, that moment that Tajir was talking about, where it just comes easy. That's the opportunity. That's the performance part of the 4 Ps. When that opportunity comes up, and you've been consistent for so long, that okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to perform. Yeah, you might be a little bit nervous, but you're still going to embrace the opportunity and step out on faith and give it a try, and be pleasantly surprised when you do perform. And it's because you've been putting in that time and that consistency for X amount of time.
Yes, sir. And the key point to that is which is actually dope. It's kind of a cheat code whenever you're trying to do something, because the hardest parts are at the beginning. Meaning, that the hardest parts are at the beginning. Everything after that is going to be smoother. And that's a guarantee, no matter what you do. No matter what you do, the hardest part is always the beginning. And really, I want to use that to segue into what that looks like in terms of finance, right? So let's start real elementary, very vanilla. Okay. So let's say you have somebody, let's say her name is Valerie Thompson. Let's say Valerie Thompson let's say she lives in upstate New York, very upstate New York, middle of nowhere, whatever, but close enough to the state capital, Albany. So let's say Valerie has a job in the government office where, let's say, she makes $35,000 to $40,000 a year, right? Definitely not, enough money to retire on and get rich tomorrow night, but it's a decent income. And based on that specific area, you can live a decent life and keep it simple. So let's say that we got Valerie and we have Xavier. Xavier lives in the city. Xavier is a hotshot doctor. Xavier makes $250,000 a year, right? Now, Valerie, let's say Valerie, she utilizes all the things at her disposal. She utilizes her 401k. She utilizes her Roth IRA. She utilizes all of her retirement plans. She has the proper insurance policies, and she is consistently putting money aside for savings and investments, right? Boom. Now we're going to go back to Xavier. Xavier is a hotshot doctor. He got to do a lot of networking. He got money now. He got a lot of student debt, and his job is stressful. So he likes to party on the weekends. He has to keep up with the Joneses just to a little bit of an extent, because, he's a doctor. So he has to look like it. He got to party. He has to drive the nice car. He has to travel. He has to do the events because he has to wine and dine and network, to get up ahead and improve his station in life. Maybe he becomes a bigger member in community. Maybe he gets selected to be in different groups, whatnot. But Mr. Xavier did not utilize any retirement savings accounts. He did not consistently save and invest. And he pretty much lived paycheck to paycheck because he was like, hey, I make 250 grand. I make a whole bunch. I'm going to blow a whole bunch. I'll run up my credit card and just pay them off at the year and do it all over again. Because I know that I'm a doctor and my skill is in demand. And unless I do some malpractice or something, I'm probably not going to get fired. So let me just keep going. Right. So let's fast forward. Right. We have that. Now this is 2024. Let's take it to 2054. What do you think got more money? It's going to be Valerie. Why? Because these are not original stories. I did not just make these up from my head. These are real life things. Their names aren't Valerie and Xavier, as far as I know, but these are real life stories of real life people. You have had people that have made only $25,000 a year. They made sure to be consistent and save and invest their money, and they end up being a bank for people that make 3, 4, 5, 6 times more money than them. And on the flip side of that, you have people that make a whole bunch of money, that have in-demand skills and are elite at what they do, that are always having financial problems, that get themselves into major financial challenges. Case in point, a few years ago, the rapper Little Kim, she declared bankruptcy, right? So everybody assumed because she declared bankruptcy, oh, she doesn't have any money. They make the jokes and the memes online about how she flopped in her career and all of that. But when they actually opened up the court papers, they realized that Little Kim was making some good money. She was making a great amount of money per month that would be great for anyone in these United States of America to live on, right? But she was not doing what she had to do consistently, saving and setting money aside, because she was spending over her budget. She was making over $18,000 a month, right? But people would say, oh man, you declared bankruptcy, you must be broke. Nah, she just wasn't being consistent. So because she was living above her means and she was overspending and she wasn't taking care of her business, she had to declare bankruptcy, which is unfortunate because over, I believe the period is 7 years. Correct me if I'm wrong, but once you declare bankruptcy, no major financial institutions will probably really touch you for 7 years. And she had to go through that process because she didn't do what she was supposed to do, and she was someone that's making a lot of money. But on the flip side of that, you have people that I know, and I know a lot of you guys have known, we all have one in our family that has never made much money in life, but always has money, can always lend you some money, never has a problem going on a trip, never has a problem traveling, because they did what they had to do. So what is my point when I say this and when I pull this together? My point is this. Everybody's looking for home runs. And everybody, including me and Nick, we all are hit with the same pathology that we got to fight because we live in these US of A. We live in 2024. We got access to the internet and everything that we see. Everyone wants to hit a home run. Everybody wants to be the big dog or the big gal. We want to be number one. We want to be seen. We want it right now. I want $1 million right now. No, I don't want to make $50K a year. I want to make $600,000 right now, and I don't want to wait, and I'm not doing anything else because I should have it right now. Why? Because every time I look on this TV, every time I pick up this cellular device, I see somebody living their best life, and I see that, and I'm like, well, you know what? Why not me? And let me tell you why not you. Because 2 things. Number 1, most of the stuff that you see is fake. People literally go out, rent cars, rent clothes, rent a house, and everything to sell you a lifestyle to get you to believe it, so you will open your wallets and give them money. Number 1. Number 2, for the people that are actually at that level, they didn't get there because they woke up and said, I'm just the best. It was over consistent action. Everybody wants to be Mayweather, but nobody wants to get on his schedule. Every artist wants to be Beyonce, but nobody wants to be on her level of work ethic. MJ, right? Michael Jackson, the number one. We've had a lot of offshoots of Michael Jackson. Have any of them really panned out and hit like him? No, because there was only one Michael Jackson, because he was one of one in terms of his work ethic and how he got down. And it's important to highlight this because as we approach financial independence, we're looking for success. We want money. We want generational wealth. Some of us selfishly, others of us, we want to put people on. We want to take care of our families. Whatever the reason is, we generally approach this from this I need it now, JG Wentworth kind of thing. And we don't want to do the small, consistent steps to get us where we need to go. And it's so interesting because out of a lot of the people that I talk to for what we do here, it's, I want to say, a good 60% of the time, in the beginning of when I talk to them, they're looking for me to give them a magic pill. They may tell me I have $120,000 of student debt. I have a whole bunch of credit card debt. I'm looking to buy a house next year, and next year is only 4 months for now. Just give you an example. I want to buy a house by next year, and I want to have $10,000 in passive income in the next year and a half. And they want me to help them do that for them right now. And the first thing that I have to get them to understand is that you've gotten yourself here because of either lack of knowledge or bad habits or both. So getting yourself out of here is going to be consistent action, which is going to feel grueling, which is going to be annoying, which is going to be boring, because that's really the secret. To be a millionaire, to be a billionaire, all these different things, it's boring. You do the boring stuff consistently. Yeah, you could build a company to 7 figures and all of that, but there's a lot of people that build companies to 7 figures and they don't have any money now because they weren't doing what they're supposed to do, right? They didn't review the contracts. They weren't setting aside the right levels of income. How many stories have we read from all of these people in the entertainment industry that made millions of dollars in the early 2000s and 2010s that have nothing now? They were like, hey, man, I just didn't know. I didn't understand, and I wasn't consistent. I just was spending all this money, not realizing that I wasn't going to make this money back. Look at all of these stories of these founders that founded these major companies, made all this money during their lifetime, whether these are big, large public companies or private companies that they just had that they scaled up, and they retire or they die with no money because this is a lack of consistency, right? So it's imperative that we focus on the foundational things first and foremost so that we can have a clear picture of where we're going and we can set ourselves up for success. So whether or not we hit a home run, whether or not we close $1 million deal, whether or not we get a huge windfall, that we can still be financially independent and still live a great life because we're doing the things that we're supposed to do. We're consistently saving and investing or utilizing our retirement accounts to the max of their ability. We have the proper insurances in place. We are buying things the right way, to where we buy them with equity. We're focused on buying assets and not continuous liabilities. When you do these things consistently, no matter what level you at, whether you're at the $20,000 level, the $100,000 level, the $1 million level, and so on, you're going to see the results. But the reality is, you have to give to get. Secret to life. You have to consistently put in work without question, without argument or insult. You have to continue and be loyal to the game in the process, and you will be rewarded. And yeah. So Nick, tell me your thoughts on that. How do you feel about that? Do you think, what I'm saying is BS? Do you feel like, hey, nah, I got another look? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, man. No, I think it's on point, and I think people tend not to take inventory or reflect on the amount of time and the amount of, I guess you could say, negative habits, the consistency with the negative habits that it took to get them in that situation, where they are. You know, so if it took you that long to build all of that up, of course, it's going to take you probably an equal amount of time to recover and fix the mess, that you made. So that that makes a lot of sense. But what it is, perception. Perception kind of skews people's sense of reality when they're on the internet and they're seeing that, or what they think they can get, that magic pill that tells them you can get that $10,000 of passive income. And it's not that people are lying or necessarily misrepresenting that idea. It's just that it's an oversimplification of that idea. So yes, you can. Now, if the person that's showing you that, if they really truly have what they're showing you, yes, you can have it too. But the person that's delivering that message to you, they're oversimplifying it because they want to condense it into a 30-second, 1 minute message to hook you in. But the reality is, once you start the journey or once you start the program, there's going to be some work that you have to put behind it. There's going to be some consistency that you'll have to exercise. There's going to be some discomfort that, similar to what Tajir had to go through when he first started getting into sales and making those sales calls.
Woo! Nick remembers.
Yeah. We forget that we're only seeing the result and we're not seeing the process. When people, even though when we're here at DJ the Money Coach, we're very transparent about the process, and we're very careful and very thorough, at least in our eyes, to emphasize that it's a process. But like Tajir says, some people will still come to him thinking that there's a magic pill overnight. They'll get it like that, just because DJ built the foundation 20 years ago with financial, family finance, and building the foundation and the fundamentals and the 3 steps to success. You're not just going to jump right into the 3 steps to success. And
Nick, you mean to tell me tomorrow that if I have a conversation with you, you're not going to make me a millionaire in 6 months? What?
Listen, none of us have ever told you that. DJ the Money Coach has never told you that. Nick Westbrook's never told you that. Tajir Green never told you that. Financially Free D never told you that. None of us never told you that.
So Nick, I really can't get $250,000 in new business credit in 2 months with a 500 credit score right now.
I mean, that's above my pay grade to give you that financial advice. That might be a better question for Financially Free D, but I would say probably not. I mean, I won't say it's impossible, but that doesn't sound too likely to me. You can't get, ladies and gentlemen. And DJ the Money Coach, he always says it's not 2 to 5 weeks, 2 to 5 months, it's 2 to 5 years. He always says it's 2 to 5 years, and he means that. And that's 2 to 5 years of consistency. That's not 2 to 5 years of doing it for the first year, then maybe falling off for 6 months the next year and getting back. No, we're talking about 2 to 5 years of consistent work. 2 to 5 years of the 4 dirty little words: discipline, accountability, plugging in the system, going to work. 2 to 5 years of doing that, every day, every month, every year, combined with the 4 Ps. So yeah, you're spot on with that. We don't get caught up in the result. You want to be focused on the system and the process, work in the system consistently, and then you will get the result that you're working towards. And also it'll keep you from becoming discouraged along the process too, because it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows, on the journey. You're gonna experience some disappointment. You're gonna experience some challenges when you're working your system. That's why it's important to focus on that 1% each day. Because if you do 1% every day, there's 365 days in the year. At the end of the year, you've grown 365%. And you can look back on that process and say, wow, I did all of that. So the importance of consistency, and like I said when I first opened up, that frequency, one is better than none.
Yes, sir. And on that topic, because it is about financial independence, we're gonna have the links in the description for you guys, because it's that season. We're approaching the holiday season. We're getting into the end of the year, so I know everybody is looking at their accounts. They're looking at their current financial status and situation, and thinking about, how can I make this better going forward? And it's excellent that you're tuned in to Family Finance Friday, because what we'll have linked in the description is the link to sit down and talk to myself or one of our other team members to get a clear understanding of where you are financially and what you need to do to get to the next level, and what you need to be consistent at to see the results that you want to see, and the reality of how long it's going to take. Because wherever you are now is because you got yourself there. So however long it takes to get out of that is however consistent you can be with the proper tools, guidance, and knowledge, and access to a network that you didn't know and didn't have, that we provide you. And this is why we do what we do, to guide people and be financial stewards over, first of all, our own finances, but help you be able to do the same thing, so you can have that same level of confidence, knowing, hey, I'm in control of my life, and I'm in control of my money, and I'm happy with what I see when I look into the mirror and my current standing at any point in life. Because even if I'm at my lowest point, or I've gone through some L's or whatever the case is, I know that I have the habits and the consistency of a winner. So whatever the situation is, I have the ability to call out. And that is really the message that I want to impart on you guys and make sure that we know. So again, recap: no home runs. There was no magic stuff overnight. Every overnight success that you saw took a minimum 2 to 5 years, and that's just a minimum. Ladies and gentlemen, that is just a minimum. And it's important that we recognize that, and we apply that intensely and vigorously when it comes to finance and becoming financially independent. Because all of the people that you see on these podcasts and these different things that are millionaires and all of that, a lot of them are one tax bill or one situation away from bankruptcy. This is a real thing that a lot of people are facing. And especially with what's going on in the current state of economy and the wild stuff that you've been seeing people do, it's only going to get wilder, because a lot of the people and even the companies that you think are doing extremely well aren't doing as well as you think they are, because they're not being consistent. But don't be like them. Be smart and be the best version of you, and be consistent so you can be independent in your life. And one of the most important things, be financially independent. And with that being said, I'll turn it over to Nick for his final thoughts, and then we can close out and send you guys off to have a fun and responsible Friday, right? So you already know, if you didn't put aside a budget for an emergency fund, you didn't start funding your emergency fund, if you planned on going out tonight, don't buy 3 drinks. You should probably just get one. Mm-hmm. Just one, because the other 2 you could throw into your emergency fund, right? So let me turn it over to Nick before we send you guys off to go do what you do.
Yep, that's right. You can put that towards your emergency fund for your material what I want to call it, I guess your material bank, but also for your energetic bank. You know that depending on your age, whether you're younger or you're older, it could be a big difference between how your body responds to one drink versus 3 drinks. And you know, tomorrow you need to get up and go exercise, go take care of business. You know, whether it's work related or career related or studying or taking care of your home. You know, you got some things to do tomorrow, so don't mess yourself up and put yourself out of commission. you're not able to do what you need to do tomorrow. I know I got some things to do. I mean, I'm not going out tonight anyway, but yeah, you want to. It's a conservation of not only your material resources, but conservation of your energy and your body as well. I look at things holistically. Everything's connected. The physical, the material, the mental, the spiritual, the emotional, everything is connected. And in one aspect, if one aspect is impacted in a negative enough way, it could impact those other aspects in negative ways as well. So think about things holistically. And DJ always tells you that another way that you can think about consistency is working the 4x4, and I'll put it on the screen. The 4x4 starts with the 4 dirty little words he likes to call them. Discipline. That's a big one. We might have a separate show just talking about discipline and what discipline means. But discipline is what leads you to consistency. Discipline is doing what you need to do even when you don't feel like doing it, or doing what you need to do even if it's something that you don't want to do or don't like to do, but you know you need to do it. And I got something about that too, and I'll pull that up while I'm talking about it, of how you can, I guess, rewire or rethink a way that you can approach discipline. It just came to mind, so I'll pull that up and I'll cycle back to that after I finish going through the 4x4. Let's see if I can follow it. I know it's within these recent weeks. Then accountability, being accountable to another person. They talk about accountability partners, so you can get yourself accountability partner, or you can get yourself a counsel. I forgot how Napoleon Hill words it in Think and Grow Rich, but having that council of people that checks in, that you could check in with. We talked about stewardship last week, so having a steward, or even being a steward to someone else, can be a part of your accountability. Someone that's going to help push you along, help keep you encouraged. And it's not only someone that's holding your feet to the fire, but it can also be someone on the other extreme if you're being too hard on yourself. Accountability comes into play right there. Plug into the 7 spheres of money system. Of course, our system is the best system, but a system is better than no system. So if you don't plug into our system, plug into a system, because a system will help you with that discipline in finding that structure. because sometimes if you got something that's free form or free flowing, and you don't have a specific guide or a specific list of steps to follow, you might overwhelm yourself. You might suffer from paralysis of analysis. So by having a system, you know exactly what you need to do step by step, and you follow it to the T, and then go to work. That's taking the 1 through 3 and just putting it to work, doing it consistently. As is the title of this show, not 2 to 5 days, not 2 to 5 weeks, not 2 to 5 months, but 2 to 5 years minimum. That's the minimum. That's the minimum. Depending on what your goals are, you may need to extend that timeline to to 5 to 10 years.
And if you get intimidated by hearing that figure, you guys, think about it like this. All the time that you continue to wait to get to your 2 to 5 years is the additional time, and the even longer it's going to take, because the more that you're setting yourself in your current poor ways and habits.
Yep. Okay. I'm going to read something else to you. I'm not sure if this is the one that I found, but it touches on exactly what I was just saying. And it says 2 years, not 2 months, which I just said. And I'm reading something right now. I'm reading something from James Clear. He said the visible progress you're hoping for usually comes slower than you'd like. Even with consistent effort, it can take a long time before progress feels significant. It might be a year of writing and editing before the book really starts to come together. You may need 2 years of recovery from a major injury before you notice just how far you've come. It may take 2 years of yoga before you realize how flexible you have become. Take a deep breath, stop worrying about immediate results, and settle into a nice routine. And I think that's a good place to land my plane right there. Just Magic, to tie baby. Everything back together.
Magic, baby. Magic.
Yep. And then, of course, pair the 4 dirty little words with the 4 P's: professionalism, persistence, perseverance, and performance. And consistency is woven into all of those 4 P's, especially the persistence, perseverance, and performance. When you persist and persevere, you're building that consistency, and that performance is the result of that consistency. So there it is.
My guy. So this Family Finance Friday has been brought to you by the legendary Nick Westbrooks, supported and tagged along by myself, Tajir Green, and DJ made a little bit of a cameo just to say hi real quick, show you his face, and skate off because he's busy closing more business. So with that being said, we want to turn it back over to Nick because nobody does this better than him. I tried, but he's the man because he's consistent. I'm not. He's consistent. This is why he's the best at this.
Yeah. I built this over time. Built this over time of being on this platform since 2020. But it's on me. It's on me to give the closing and the benediction. So thank you for watching Family Finance Friday. Let me find my banner so I can put that on the screen. This is what you've been in tune with: the sights, sounds, and the vibes of Family Finance Friday. I just had it. Okay, there we go. Family Finance Friday with DJ the Money Coach. Thank you for watching. And if you haven't already, hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Go ahead and do that on your way out. And we, like I said, we invite you to come join us on the beaches of the World Club. And your beach doesn't have to be Zanzibar. It doesn't have to be the Heart and Soul Music Festival. Your beach doesn't have to have sand, water, clear blue, warm water, or white sand beaches. It doesn't have to be that type of beach. Your beach can be a proverbial beach. Your beach is a mental place. It's a state of mind. The beach is a state of mind, right? It's a place where There's absence of confusion. There's absence of chaos. A beach is that mental tranquility. It's that peace. That is your beach. So as long as you're finding that, that's all that matters. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of Family Finance Fridays with DJ the Money Coach. Take care.
Peace out, party people.
Hello, everyone. This is our first official day in Zanzibar.